Hello, welcome to this tutorial on how to make sustainable items out of unconventional materials. My name's Phoebe and I'm going to be taking you through this tutorial today, and hopefully you learn something new or you just enjoy the process. It's all up to you. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using bin bags that my cleaning lady at university always brings to me, but I always find there's way too many for just one bin in my room. I did this for a sustainable fashion event in Loughborough University called Reinvent. This went really well. I used bin bags as the main source of my dress that I made, which you can see here. This was a really challenging kind of activity for somebody that had never used this kind of material before to make clothes. But yeah, it was really fun, really educational, taught me a lot about sustainable practice, how even something as simple as bin bag can become an outfit, and how we should repurpose things to make new things. But yeah, I hope you enjoy the process and enjoy the ending outcome. So let's get into it. First thing you're going to want to do is collect everything that you want to use. For me, I've got my bin bags. I've also got some cardboard from random places that I've found in my room. I've got a tape measure to get my measurements. I've got scissors. I've got pens and a sewing machine with different threads. But yeah, as I said earlier, you don't need to use a sewing machine. You can use whatever you've got. It's entirely up to you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. Here is a mannequin that I'm going to be using to display my final outcome. At the minute, it's currently wearing a top that I made using a satin material. And this kind of inspired the top that I'm going to make for today's tutorial. So yeah, the first thing that we kind of want to do is take our tape measure and measure it around the body, and then we also need to measure from the waist all the way up around to see how long we need our straps, and then we need to do the cup size as well. So I'm just going to quickly do mine. So yeah, we're going to begin by folding this in half, which is what I did, the exact same method for the one I made in the fashion show as well. Yeah, so once you folded it in half, making sure it's straight as you can, we are basically just going to sew along the edges, and this will create the waistband of our top. So once we've finished sewing the waistband, we can then move on to cutting out the shape of the cups. And for this, I'm just going to draw the shape and then cut around it. And you will need 4 triangles for this to work. Now that we've cut out 4 triangles, we'll use 2 of the triangles each for each of the 2 sides. And then what we next want to do is place them on top of each other like this, and then sew down the middle here. So to do this, you need to place the triangles like this, so that when you sew them, the extra material won't be seen. Okay, and then we just sew all the way along this line here. Okay, now that you have sewn them together along the waistband, you should have something that opens up to look like this. At this point, you might want to measure it up against yourself to check that it's all the right size. Mine is looking a bit big, so I might take some off the cups, but yeah, it's okay if it doesn't go to plan. Just keep going and hopefully it will all work out and it doesn't have to be perfect, so don't worry about imperfections. It's all part of the learning process. So to create the straps, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 loops at the edges of the corn, at the edges, so that I can attach string, and then that can pull it all together. So once you've cut out your attachments, we can lay out where we want them. So for on these sides, I think I want to place two of the loops on this area and this area, and then on the tops I just want 1 on each one. Okay, so once you've attached all of your loops to the edges of the top, then you can begin to think about what material you want to have for the crossover back. I'm either going to use string or ribbon. You can also cut out really long strips of bin liner if you'd like to keep it all the same. I've decided to use string, and I'm going to cut out 2 really long pieces of string that will fit around my back, like so. So once you've finished cross attaching all the string, you should have a bin bag top that looks pretty much like this, and it has a crossover back. I almost forgot to say as well, if you want to make your top more customizable, then you can use paper cardboard or anything that you have lying around, cut out shapes, and you'll have something that looks pretty similar to the example that I showed you earlier. So yeah, I mean, I hope it goes really well and enjoy making something new. So thank you all, and see you again soon. Bye!